Hey, what's up? It's Dan McDonald, and I wanted to say hello. I had a request for a philosophy type video. I used to do a lot more of those. Perhaps over the years I've sort of quit being so open, but I decided yesterday, due to some of the feedback of the participants at the detox workshop, that it was about time that I got back to that a little bit more. Because I think what people really need to do in order to make this world a better place is to truly be themselves and to truly speak what's on their mind and in their heart. Because there's various stratospheres of consciousness, and some people can't dig it, and some people can't understand. And then what happens, I think, is that people get hurt because other people can't understand, because they might not be able to tap into that frequency that you're coming from. Like love. Some people hate love, you know? But really, like, if you're me, you see love as the answer, you know? And so it's important for me, as a person who loves love and believes in it, to speak about it. And so what will happen is, you might be the type of person that believes in love, and you might go to your party with your friends and you're in your 20s or something like that, and you're like, yeah, love is the answer, man, and your friends look at you like you're an idiot. And you never say anything about love again. So that's why I make this video. So that you can actually come here, and you don't need to go, you can go to the party with your friends if you want, have a beer, I don't recommend it. And then you could come home, put on a Life Regenerator video, and realize that yes, there are others like you that believe in love, that make it a focus, a priority, and a commitment, and part of their process. It can take some time to develop into a higher state of love after a lifetime of fear programming. So that's why I've always been one, through my own experience, to speak of the power of persistence and the power of patience. Many people that I have ran into and know and love and care for are in such a hurry to arrive. And I was that way too. But I did have an insight and a vision one day after a prayer, and I said, God, please give me a purpose. And there was a very, very clear inner voice. It wasn't like a booming voice from heaven, but an inner knowing, if you will, an intuitive understanding. And it just told me that, you know, it will be many years, 8 years actually, from the time that I asked, until you will begin to truly live your purpose. And after I heard that inner voice, it was just a subtle, you know, understanding. And it also said, I will be refining you and perfecting you and preparing you. And once I felt that and heard that and understood that, I dropped into it. I knew what was going on. I continued the education process. I continued the process of practice. And the process of what the topic and the title of this video is, refinement, which was the key word that came up this morning, which would help anyone who may have questions about who Dan McDonald is. He is the one who is committed to the refinement of every aspect of his life. That is what life regeneration is. So that beautiful word came this morning, about 6 in the morning. I've been sleeping outside underneath the stars. It's very refreshing. I have this huge house. I only got it for the kitchen. so that I could feed all my friends. I don't even eat, I just live off juice. And to make videos for you. I was thinking about that. I'm like, I don't need anything. You know? There's nothing that anyone has that I want. I'm already in possession of it. What I'm working on refining is my devotion to that, to myself. And when I say myself, I'm talking about the deepest part of myself. And it's called the inward journey, the path, the way. But we turn from that external grabbing carrot at the end of the stick, and we just stop. And we realize there's a stick, there's a string, and there's a carrot. And no matter how fast we run, that little stick, string, and carrot is attached to our head. It's always 1 foot out there in front of us. We wise up after a little while. And then we, through whatever wisdom we come across, whether it's a book or a teacher or an intuitive understanding, everyone learns in a different way. Sometimes it's through videos. Thank God for that. You know, we all learn in a different way, but we absorb the knowledge, the gnosis, and the wisdom. And then we stop chasing the carrot at the end of the stick. And we begin the process of understanding that the treasure, or the carrot, is right inside the center of your heart. The carrot that you're chasing is the love that's already inside of you, but it just got programmed out. Remember when you were a kid? You were so stoked, you know? Mine ended pretty young, actually. Some of you were stoked for a little longer. Some of you were stoked never. Like you were ripped out of your mom. She didn't produce any oxytocin because she had a junk diet and was a crackhead. Threw you off and it ended up over here, 6 months there, this foster home. Everyone's got a different story. But that story is part of your journey and your path. Because you can have a really bad thing happen to you, and you can turn it around and help other people who've had that bad thing happen by developing courage and refining yourself and developing knowledge and wisdom and turning your poop and growing flowers with it. Or we could continue to tell the story and feel sorry for ourselves. You know, people get together all the time. They go to Starbucks or Sizzler and they talk about their health problems or how bad their relationships are. You ought to be at home working on your relationship. You ought to be at the juice bar working on your health instead of at Starbucks. You know what I mean? Only champions are going to be here right now. You already would have done clicked off if you weren't a champ. So thank you for being who you are. You made it this far. You know that the best is yet to come in this video. Sometimes it takes a little while. These seeds take some time to grow. The sun has to shine upon you. The sunshine of love, or a good friend, or someone to finally understand, or a decision you make. Or you might look in the mirror and say, I cannot stand my fat ass one more day. I am going to go on a juice diet. And if you really want to lose weight, grapefruit is like the best. Or clear out any kind of debris. Grapefruit, orange, lemon. Citrus juices are amazing for dissolving the slime that builds up in the human body from all the junk. Oh, best grapefruit juice ever. So now let's get into the video today. Now that we've warmed up and prepped. This is for the hardcores. This is for the DTM lovers. Had a detox class yesterday. The stories that I hear. It's not about food. Sometimes it is. They like the food because everyone knows. If you love your food's going to love you. And if you love your body, the vehicle that you've got, you're going to love your food, you're going to eat good, you're going to love yourself, and you're going to learn how to refine yourself. That's the nature and the title and the topic of this video. I woke up this morning, and that's just what it's about. It's refinement. Letting go of the old attachments and making your way into a better you. Who wants that? Do you want that? I do. It's not because I'm not good enough. It's because I'm devoted to the fact that there is so much potential inside of me, and there's so much potential inside everyone, that I would look back, 90 years from now and be like, you were a fool. I wouldn't even make it 90 years. Without the refinement, I won't make it to 126. But with the refinement of the senses and the practicing of the disciplines, I love discipline. I'll tell you though, I'm not that disciplined. Compared to most people, I'm actually very, very disciplined. But I don't compare myself to most people. That's what I like about Dan the Man. For me, I'm the lead dog. From my own experience, I'm the lead dog. I'm not staring at no other dog's butts. I'm too busy. This is what I wanted to say. I'm too busy refining myself to even care about what other people are doing, to judge or criticize them. And I want that to sink into yourself. Think about that for a minute. If you're busy taking 1 second of your day thinking about what someone else is doing, you just wasted 1 second of your life that you could have used to make yourself a better person, to bring your potential forth. What do you want? To be abundantly rich? I do. Why? Because I want to feed everybody. And I want to plant acres. I'm gonna feed everybody. I am going to feed. I already do. They all come to my house. I drink juice. I make them all this food. It's awesome. The Sedona Love Center. It is a center of love. Nothing but the most enlightened beings make their way through there. It's amazing. I love feeding people food. That's what the abundance is for, so you can give it away. Because something told me, Dan, you're a leader. You have to accept this. And it didn't say you have to, it was just, it encouraged me to accept it. It encouraged me to embrace it. And I said, okay. Because I go to the desert and I release the doubts. And that is part of the refinement process. Going somewhere, getting quiet, observing the way that your mind is processing. Observe the mind, the way that it thinks. Observe the doubts that you have about yourself and your abilities, and then let them go one by one chunk at a time. And each time that you release doubt, you make room for faith in yourself and in the unlimited creative power that resides in each and every one of us. It resides in you. I won't try to convince you. I will just simply state that I know of a truth that it is inside of this one right here. Because I've seen it, the miracle. Because of the persistence, because of the patience, because I don't waste 1 second worrying about what somebody else does. I'm too busy focused on, did you do your yoga today? Did you meditate? Could you have meditated longer? Were you focused on your intentions and got your responsibilities taken care of for the day so that you could make time to relax? Are you working on your relationships? Are you educating yourself with audiobooks and these other great written materials, videos from people that might inspire you, spiritual teachers, money moguls, relationship counselors, food gurus. Are you picking it up? And are you doing something with it? Are you inspired to do something with the knowledge you're accumulating? Invest in yourself. That's the greatest investment I've ever made. Audiobooks, books, DVDs, CDs, workshops. That's the way I learn. I cram my mind full of knowledge. But the most important thing is I know that unless I put that knowledge into practice, it's no good. It has to be real. I've said that to myself for as long as I can remember. Even when I was on the streets and strung out, it has to be real. That's why they all liked hanging around me. That's why I always had an unlimited supply of everything. People liked having me around. Because when I was 4 years old, the process of refinement had already begun. Because I got onto the bus with the Bert and the Ernie talking about the light of Jesus. And that was my very first experience. And that's when the refinement process began. So no matter where you're at and what you're doing, hey, I might have been a drug addict, but it was only because I didn't have the skills to transcend and start processing through the pain that had accumulated through the earliest days of childhood. And the innocence is robbed from many of us far too soon. None of us keep it until we return to it. See? Consciously. As adults. Many children are blessed. Few, actually, I will say, to have enlightened parents that never robbed them of the joy of being innocent and childlike. But the master returns. She returns to her innocence. Haha. And soaks, relaxes, drinks the juice. For this one, that's the childlike joy. Soaking, swimming, chilling. You know, what good is a suntan? Does it pay the bills? No, but it just, you look in the mirror, you're like, hey, no tan lines. That's awesome. That's the childlike joy. That's not your priority. Maybe it is, maybe it's not. Tan lines suck. So the child within the Dan is always like, got to get out there in the sun. Got to do it naked. I'm out into the desert. And I go to the desert, and I take my clothes off, and I let the doubts go. And I continue every day to take this mind, because the mind wants to go over here, and it wants to go down into the lower depths of earth, and attachments, and fears, and worries. What do other people think of me? Well, screw that. What other people think of you is none of your business. We've all heard that, but it's the truth. That's their problem. For me, once I'm perfect, make no mistakes, and I am a mountain of unconditional love, maybe then I'll begin to look at other people, but I strongly doubt it. Because all I want to do is understand. Because I've learned that enough understanding, and you see the pain in the person who's trying to hurt you. And pity and compassion arises for ignorance. So when I always say ignorance, I don't mean like, you know, redneck, hick type ignorance. I'm talking about to not know. And if you, watching this video, know everything and you're not ignorant of something, please post down below this video and start making your own videos so I can watch them and learn from you. So we can all continue. What I've learned is that we all continue to learn from one another. I learned a lot yesterday from the students at the detox workshop. I learned a lot from them about what they get from these videos and why it's so important to be authentic. Because it's better to save one life for truth, to save a soul from that process of decrepitude of the soul, but enlivening of the soul through vulnerability. What the hell? Pretty soon there's going to be nowhere for the sword to land, baby. Because the mind that tries to drop back down into the earth and all the fears and attachments has been moving its way back into what do you want to think about? And that is the divine mind. What is the divine mind telling my body? What is the divine mind telling my heart? What is the divine mind putting into this mind? And then how is that affecting the energy field? Yeah. Why do certain people have that glow while others do not? Is it all about the diet? The diet has some to do with it. If you can refine the diet and refine the heart and finally refine the mind and bring it to quietude and focus it on what your desire is, pretty soon you'll find out it's not your desire. It's the desire of the desire itself to be whole. All soul, soul, energy, desires wholeness. A balancing of the masculine and the feminine into androgyny of the wholeness of the spirit. And then we can choose. I like come to earth. I play the masculine. Dan the man. That's a role I play. But I embrace the feminine. Why? Because if you don't, you will end up with all those diseases that arise from not embracing the feminine. Same thing with the women. They will develop all the issues that arise from not embracing and accepting the masculine within themselves. So we embrace our full self and then we play. It's helpful to refine yourself into a place where you know who and what you are. So my recommendation for refinement is to continue to refine those areas in your life where you see you would gain more joy. Would you gain more joy if you had more communication and intimacy with your husband? Well, then you work on that. There's all kinds of amazing audio programs and books and workshops about relationships. Invest your time, invest your money, and then act upon that knowledge. Do you want to lose weight? Get rid of a disease. Invest your time, money, knowledge, and life in understanding the process of the juicing, the raw foods, the physical organism, the organs and glands of digestion and assimilation and utilization and elimination. And master that area. But one area of refinement, always be careful with this, seeps out into all the other areas of refinement. And then you'll continue to expand and evolve and refine and grow. And you'll be like, wow, here's a whole nother area to be explored for refinement. And you'll find that instead of that impatience and that desire to arrive, you'll find that you've already arrived. And there's this amazing process taking place right now. And saying yes to it, whether it's an unpleasant part of the process, because pain is the great catalyst for growth and refinement, and the joy of another type of refinement within the being, which elevates, lifts, and brings youthening qualities as well. So the pendulum swings. And as we become more wise, patient, loving, and understanding, the pendulum begins to swing less and less. I know about extremism. I'll always be extremely balanced. Some people are balanced. I'm extremely balanced. I'm balanced in my extreme because I want to see extremely good results. for myself. So I'm willing to go to those extremes. Oh, 40-day water fast, that's extreme. Yeah, but imagine the extreme emptiness, which would allow you to become extremely full. So that pendulum, the amount of pain that you feel is the amount of love. The amount of joy. The amount of fear, same thing, the amount of love. So any highly advanced spiritual master will tell you that they will probably agree with you've got to go through hell before you get to heaven. And sometimes they're just they're not even separate. And everyone has a different destiny. So I just came to encourage you to refine yourself. And don't let anyone in your life hold you back. Society is kind of designed for mediocrity and holding you back. Families do it out of their own unconscious fears. They're pretty well aware that they're never going to want to give up cheeseburgers. That they wouldn't know how to live life without a beef brisket on the barbecue on Sundays and beer. And you're seeing Dan the Man videos and you're like, I really want to get sober. I really want to get off dead animals. I really want to clean up my body, clear up my heart, awaken my mind so that I can do what this guy's doing, which is just constantly being blessed. So when you're like that, you think to yourself, well, I better say something somehow to somebody. I got this little video show, because one person out there is going to hear this. They're going to hear something. They're going to hear that it's possible to go from the pits of poverty and of drug abuse and physical abuse and other types of unmentionable abuses that are too personal to share, but that you can go from that place and take all that crap and you can be okay with it. A lot of people will tell me, they will tell me things they won't tell other people because I tell them everything. I did this, I did that, you know, escaped the mental institution, you know, here's all my strange old sexual type behaviors that I did. Really? Whoa, I never would have saw that in you before. Or whatever, you know? And so then they open up. So for you to start accepting the things you've done instead of carrying it around like all these heavy bags, that's one of the reasons why I get to be as light as I am. I'm still working for sure, you know? So what I get from the feedback is that I just need to share, and that's enough. Then people say, oh, I'm not crazy. Here's this guy thinking the same way I am. Thank God, what a relief. My family thinks I'm nuts. My friends think I've gone off the deep end because I want to eat fruits and vegetables and love myself. Or I want to pray and meditate. You took up yoga. Your whole family thinks you went to Satan worship because you want to stretch out your body so that the nerve energy, it goes more deeply into your extremities and you flow better with flexibility. Because the more flexible the body, the more flexible the spirit. The more flexible the spirit, the more flexible the body. And so we go down both roads. Are you angry because your liver's clogged up? Or is your liver clogged up because you're angry? Well, it's both. So you work on both. You work on the diet, and you refine that constantly, and you work on your body, and you work on your spirit, and you let go of doubt, and you let go of all the shame, and you let go of all the mistakes that you made, which made you who you are today, much smarter, better, wiser, stronger,